Hey, what's up, guys? This is Nick from The Men with the Jet, and I'm here with another episode of the Edison Diaries. Today's episode is going to be focused around gadgets, specifically anti-meta gadgets. So this deck's based around the plus ones of the gadget summoning and 1-for-1 removal through spells and traps. Essentially, we just kind of nickel and dime our way to victory with various attacks from just little random beaters like the gadgets. So to start off with our deck list, we have 3 DD Warrior Lady, a great attacker, a great removal tool. You can set it to also get things defensively as well. Just very underrated card here in Edison, I think. Follow that up with 2 Doom Caliber Knight. Just a 1900 beater that can maybe randomly come up and negate an effect. It might hit like a Raikou, it might hit a super nimble Mega Hamster. I've hit Sangan with it, obviously. So, like, there's just, like, a lot of different things that Doom Caliber Knight can do that is very powerful. Next up, 2 Fossil Giant Apache Cephalo. So, this card's one of those just staples of the format. If you want to shut down special summoning, you play this card. We have 2 here in the main and 1 in the sideboard to just really negate those pesky spam decks. Then we have the Gadget Engine. Like I said, 2 green gadgets, 2 red gadget, 2 yellow gadget. We're not playing 3 of them because we don't want to flood. We just want to draw 1 and have it lead to the rest of them. We don't play 3 also because if you ever draw 2, it just feels really bad. So lastly, we have 3 Thunder King Ryo, and the big reason we play Thunder King Ryo is because it's just probably the best stun card in the format. The thing to note is that it does stop your own gadgets, so I would be a little bit wary about playing it and then following up with a gadget, because you won't get anywhere with it. Now we have the spell lineup. We have 2 Book of Moon. The only reason we don't play 3 is because sometimes it's hard to Book a Moon and attack over it, especially since most of our attackers are so weak. So we play a little bit of different varied removals, just so we have something for every situation. Next up is 2 Forbidden Chalice. This one is a little bit of an underplayed card. Being able to negate an effect on your opponent's side of the field is so valuable. The 400 attack bonus also means it can be used during the damage step to push a gadget over something that's blocking your way. Next up, Giant Trunade and MST, just back row removal for whatever we may come across. 2 Shrink as just another way to remove big fatties from our opponent's side of the board. This one's also reactive because it's a quick play. And then 2 Smash and Ground just as generic 1-for-1 removal. For the traps, we have 2 Bottomless Trap Hole. That's just a staple of the format. 2 Compulse. Compulsory Evacuation Device is just really good at getting rid of plays that your opponent invests a lot of cards and resources into. You know, like a Synchro Summon or maybe like a Fusion Summon of some sort. Then we have a Dark Bribe. I'm just going to go over Dark Bribe and Starlight Road together. They're just ways to stop Heavy Storm, Giant Trunade. Well, Starlight Road, not Giant Trunade, but just stop like our opponent blowing up all of our back row. Then we have 3 D Prison, 1 Mirror Force, 2 Royal Oppression, Solemn Judgment, and then Torrential Tribute. So that is the main deck. Our extra deck is just nothing. We don't special summon in this deck. We don't use the extra deck outside of Chimera Tech Fortress Dragon and 2 Stardust Dragon for Starlight Road. So the rest of this is just filler. And then lastly, for our side deck, we have 2 Breaker, the Magical Warrior. I go back and forth with this and Dust Tornado. You actually might even see in the episodes me swap between these 2 in the sideboard. Essentially, just you want something to remove like Royal Decree from the field, for instance. 2 Cyber Dragon. We don't main deck these because I think it's actually like very bad to main deck this because oftentimes you don't want to have to go into like a 2000 attack point Chimera Tech Fortress Dragon, but you do want a Cyber Dragon into gadget, so better just leave these at home and focus more on stopping special summons while you can. 3rd Fossil Dino's here in the sideboard, like I said, just for those extra spammy decks that you need 3 copies of it for. 3-Dimensional Fissure to stop graveyard decks. 2 Noblemen of Crossout to stop the Raikous and Hamsters more so than just the 2 Doom Caliber Knights in the main deck. 3 Pulling the Rug. to stop monarchs and stuff like Stratos, Deep Sea Diva, and the likes. And then 2 trap hole to stop decks that are really normal summon heavy, like Black Wings. Blightsworn can be a little normal summon heavy at times. Monarch decks, just anything that needs its normal summon to stick, you just have 2 extra trap holes in the sideboard for it. And that is the deck list. So let's get into the games. Alright guys, here we are, episode 4 of the Edison Diaries, game 1, the anti-meta gadgets. Let's go. So we lose the rock, paper, scissors. Not ideal. Usually with control decks you want to be going first, but we'll take it as it comes. Fast forward a little bit. Our opponent leads off with Arcus. Mills Cyber Dragon of all things, and Raikou. So they're on Lightsworns of some sort. Cyber Dragon's a little off-putting, but we'll see how that goes. We're going to lead off with our red gadget just to keep the gadgets going. Our hand's pretty good. We've got Mirror Force, Dark Bribe, Forbidden Chalice. We've got Doomcal and DD Warrior Lady as removal pieces as well, in addition to the spell and traps. So I like where our hand is. We're going to start off with the gadget and try to attack over the Arcus. So let's see how that goes. Makes it over. They take 100. We'll just set a couple cards. They go Lumina. I'm going to let them pitch, and then I'm going to Forbidden Chalice Lumina. It'll die to our red gadget. Our red gadget will die here, but I think that's okay. Just because we get to play another gadget to attack right over Lumina anyway. Saves us from taking extra damage. They could get the Arcus back out. They could get the Wolf that they discard. So we're going to go with the DD Warrior Lady, actually, just in case they hit another Honest. We're fine with that. We're just going to let the Lumina die and go to the... And we'll pass back to our opponent. They're going to Cold Wave. We'll Dark Bribe here just so we can still have access to Mirror Force. Unfortunately, it did not work out in our favor because they have the Lila to blow up the Mirror Forest. At least we have the out to the Lila, but they're going to get the most and more cards here. We do draw the Fossil Dyna, so let's put it in fast forward here. Fossil Dyna and DD Warrior Lady in. They set a card. It's Raikou, so the reason why I play the Doomcal there is because I expect the Raikou, and it's either Raikou or like Super Nimble Mega Hamster to get a Raikou. And in either situation that's presented to us, the Doom Caliber stops that from happening. And I guess the Super Nimble and Mega Hamster is stopped by the Fossil Dyna, but the Doom Caliber Knight at least stops the Raikou itself. So we go Doom Caliber, beat over, and then the rest will get in. So they're going to Monster Reincarnation here. Pitching Wolf. I believe they get Lila. Yeah. Okay, so they grab Lila. Summon the Lila. The Lila is going to attack over the Fossil Dyna, unfortunately. And then it's going to mill 3 cards. Celestia Gores. And... So we don't have a direct answer to this Lila, but the best thing we can do is maybe get some more pressure going. So I think the best course action is to smash and ground the Lila, summon another DD Warrior Lady, and get in with both of them. I actually end up regretting this situation entirely. I should have played Yellow Gadget essentially. The reason why is it would have left me with a DD Warrior Lady in hand, a removal spell plus another gadget. Because now in this situation we lose the... Yeah, we lose the DD Warrior Lady that we summoned, and then we get through with just the other one. That's roughly about the same thing. They would have 300 more life points, but we'd be much more better suited for this Judgment Dragon that comes down, because we'd still have the DD Warrior Lady. Unfortunately, JD comes down, blows up field, hits for 3,000. Not much more we can do. Our opponent forgot to mill 4 with Judgment Dragon, so let's just make sure that happens. We have limited outs, unfortunately, but the good news is that they're limited to just only having 700 life points, so they can't blow up the field again. So we can just sort of buy some time by setting a gadget. I think they just completely didn't realize how much life they had, so they're going to undo that. Okay, so we can speed this up here. It does not get a whole lot better for us, I don't believe. Okay, so post sideboard, we bring in a lot of the Graveyard Hate and the Dimensional Fissures, and then we bring in a couple more things to stop Judgment Dragon sort of situations from happening to us. So we'll start off with Green Gadget, and then some back row. In this deck, you almost always want to start off with the gadget if you can help it, solely because just getting more monsters out of your deck to increase your back row or your top deck chance for better back row is in crucial situation that you want to constantly set yourself up. Today, Heavy Storm. I decided not to Solemn Judgment there. I figure it wasn't worth paying 4,000 life points just to save Prison. Bane attacks over a green gadget. They set another back row, and they'll make 2, including a Raiko and a Solar Recharge. We draw, so we do have the out for the Jane in the form of the Doom Caliber Knight. We'll get in. Set our Impulse, our Dark Bribe. Unfortunately, they flip the Royal Decree. We don't have an answer to that. Royal Decree is the one thing that this deck does struggle with a little bit, which is why I've changed around the sideboard a little bit more to better handle situations. Originally it was on Dust Tornadoes, but I've switched them to Breaker and Magical Warrior. Just so you have a better out to Royal Decree. Now we have to answer the Cyber Dragon. I set the DD Warrior Lady. Again, I think I screw up here because I should probably just play the right gadget and then Contact Fuse into Chimera Tech Fortress Dragon for 2k hit in, and then save the DD Warrior Lady for later. That just, you know, whether that's correct or not, I don't know. It's something to keep in mind. Cyber Dragon attacks in. Nothing I can really do, so we'll banish it with DD Warrior Lady. Wolf will get in for 21. We'll speed this up a little bit. We'll red gadget, go get yellow gadget. This is why we should have not used the DD Warrior Lady yet. We should have done the opposite. Because if they somehow got the Cyber Dragon off the field, it didn't matter. And then we just get beat down here. Royal Decree is just doing so much work for our opponent. We draw the Thunder King. We do have the Forbidden Chalice to kind of protect us here. That's only limited time thing. We do have Smashing Ground, but the Royal Decree is just so, yeah. Then you get Judgment Dragon back here, blow up the field. Nothing I can do because of the Royal Decree, obviously. And then we draw a meaningless gadget. They can blow up the field again in it. And we're dead. So game 1, we do lose a harsh one to Lightsworn, but let's come back for game 2 and see how that goes. Alright guys, here we are in game number 2 here of Edison Diaries. Let's see where we're starting here. And this time we are going second again. Draw our opening 5. It's really good actually, gadget with 4 back row. Just really impossible to ask for much better. So our opponent's going to take some time here. They're eventually going to summon Scrap Recyclers, Pitch, Machina Fortress. So let's slow this down here. Summon our own gadget, get red gadget. Our opponent and I had a little talk there about how great Scrap Recycler is as I destroy it with a green gadget. Opponent takes some damage, and then we're going to set some back row, pass back to them. So they're a Machina deck of some sort. They could be gadgets, they could be ancient gear, they could be some other sort of Machina build. Maybe like a Light Sworn that also runs Scrap Recycler. So we'll see where they're headed. Opponent's thinking during our end step, see if they're going to do anything. They will flip up the Call of the Haunted during our end phase, get back that Machina Fortress. We have a bunch of answers to it, so I'm not too worried at this point. Yep, there we go, the Fortress, and then they draw for turn. Opponent is thinking here. Okay, so they play Mausoleum of the Emperor, pay 2,000 to tribute summon Ancient Gear Golem. We will Torrential here, because our Mirror Forces and our Deep Prisons aren't good against Golem. So let's clear the board. They set a back row, pass back to us. And this is where we want to be with gadgets. We want to just, keep drawing cards, keep playing gadgets. This is exactly the start that we want. So let's play red gadget, go get yellow gadget. From there, we should be able to set a couple back row, attack for 13, and pass back to our opponent. We'll throw that Royal Oppression down as well in case they want to bring back a fortress. So, pass to them, they go ahead and draw. Alright, they're thinking on their end. Maybe they've got an Ancient Gear they can tribute here first. That's what I think they end up doing is they pay 1,000. Yep, here we go. They pay 1,000 to go play an Ancient Gear Beast. We don't have a bottomless trap hole for it, but we do have the Compulse, so we'll bounce it back to their hand, just buying us another turn to attack directly. Our opponent now has the decision to go for Fortress or not, because they have more than 8 stars in their hand with the Beast and then whatever may else be there. They will go for it, pitching Fortress. I'll try to Royal Oppression. They kind of tank on it for a little bit. Actually even give me the thumbs up, but then they remember, oh wait, I've got the MST, pop the Royal Oppression. Stinks for us, but not much we can do. Fortress hits the field. We've got the Deep Prison in the back row to answer this though, so if they've got nothing else, then we do have another turn. Yep, Deep Prison flips up, they don't have anything, and we draw Doom Cow for lethal. So let's go to game 2. This time we're also on the draw, we're going second. And our hand is not very good actually. Double gadget's always bad, and then 2 more monsters to go along with the double gadget. Granted, the quality of the monsters that we drew, very powerful, but I would much rather something else. Our opponent gets to go Future Fusion here. I believe they go and reveal Ultimate Ancient Gear Golem. Yep, Ultimate Ancient Gear Golem is the reveal. They're going to pitch Ancient Gear Golem and 2 Ancient Gear monsters. I believe they're both Gachiltron Dragons. Yep. And the summon Gear Frame go get Fortress, set a back row, and pass us. Still play the Thunder King over. They take 100. Set a couple back row. Actually, I think we just set 1. I think we just set the Deep Prison. Yep. So we set just Deep Prison. To hopefully answer this Fortress our opponent's going to go for. Standby phase, they put a counter on to represent a turn has passed, and then they draw. And then they go to their main phase I already drew. What am I saying? Alright, so our opponent thinks a little bit here. And they're going to start out with summoning, I believe, a Mac and a Gear Frame. They're going to tank a little bit as they realize that Gear Frame's not going to do anything with Thunder King on the field. I give them the thumbs up. Start typing something to them. They realize what's going on. They, I believe, even in chat, acknowledge that their play is not working as... Yeah, I know it doesn't resolve. Okay, so now our opponent is then going to play into a Fortress, I believe. Pitch 2 cards, bring back Fortress. We have the answer for the Fortress 2 in the Deep Prison, so I hope that is the play. Yep, pitch 2, bring back Fortress, Fortress attack, flip up the Deep Prison, nothing happens. Draw another Fossil Dyna, that's not the greatest, but then we will play the first one, get in for 100, and then get in for 12. Our opponent doesn't have the answer for the Fossil Dyna, and then we're passing back to them. After setting the Mirror Force, of course. Future Fusion is now a dead card, as Fossil Dyna will prevent it from summoning the Ultimate Ancient Gear Golem. Yeah, it does stay. It does still stay on the field. Our opponent is going to see what they do here. They check their graveyard, can't special summon, so any fortresses are just kind of out of the loop. Just pass back to us. Perfect. So we draw. So I don't think we play another card here, because second Fossil Dyna is overkill, and then the gadgets don't do anything other than add an additional little bit of damage. And this is still a 2-turn clock if our opponent does nothing on. We have the Compulse to basically keep us in line, so everything should be, you know, turning out our favor, but let's just make sure. Our opponent is back in the tank, passes back to us. We draw the Giant Trunade. Look at our opponent's back row. Don't think it matters, as Giant Trunade resolves, goes back to their hand. Then we summon the gadget for lethal. Perfect. Alright, we win this game. Alright, let's see you in the next one. Alright guys, match number 3 here on this episode of the Edison Diaries. So, get started. This time we actually get to go first. Pretty excited. Fortunately, our hand, until that draw of Fossil Dyna, was not the best. We get to go Fossil Dyna and set a couple back row, which is always nice, but usually you want something a little bit better. Like I said, you want to start out with a gadget, maybe start out with Thunder King or Doom Caliber Knight. Fossil Dyna is a good start, but not a great start, because a lot of normal summons can just beat over. Fossil Dyna is setting Starlight Road, Deep Prison, and Book of Moon. So we have Heavy Storm, Protection. Pass to our opponent. Everything's looking good so far. And I want to give a shout out to this opponent, by the way. I ended up talking with them after this match. They were really nice. You know, I had seen the channel before, so big shout out to them. I will link, or let them link their social medias, their Twitch if they want in the comments. Alright, so the MST are Book of Moon, and then just set a card, probably a Raikou. Looking back, I can obviously see it's a Raikou, but we don't really have anything that can play around it, so we just have to attack into it. It's the Raikou, they're going to pop. I think it's a Fossil Dyna? Yeah, okay. So they do hit the Fossil Dyna. Mill 3 cards. Not really great mills. Fine by us. We'll just set another back row and pass to our opponent. At this point, I'm wondering what our opponent's on. It could be a weird form of Lightsworn, the Book of Moon. Could be something like Quick Draw Plant. As we'll see here, the normal summon Blackwing Gale. That doesn't really give us a whole lot. That card used to be splashed in a lot of different decks. Turns out, even in today's age, it doesn't get splashed a lot just because, while it is a really good one-piece removal card, there's just usually something better you can run for your engine or for your game plan that will really stand up a lot better. So we attack over it with our top deck Thunder King Ryo. Our opponent's going to go into the tank. Maybe they've got something to remove the Thunder King with, maybe like Prison. Opponent's still thinking here. They decide to take the damage. Fast forward a little bit. Alright, so they do set something. We draw. We attack into it. Turns out this card is 300, 200 is only one thing it can be. It's a Spirit Reaper. But, yeah, so that kind of puts us a little halt on tracks. You don't have anything to answer at the moment. So let's just set the Royal Oppression. We're still really good against Heavy Storm with the Starlight Road. And let's just hope we don't get blown out here by, like, I guess Akai has to be pretty bad for us. Our opponent lets us go, or we let our opponent go to main phase. We have no responses or activations. They have nothing, so we just draw another Thunder King Ryo, pass back to them because there's no reason to commit the second one. They do have the Caius now. That's fine. Looks like they're going to target Thunder King Ryo. We'll bottomless in response. Just clean answer for this Caius right now. We do have the second Thunder King Ryo now to get in during our turn. But we do draw a gadget, so it's debatable which one we play here. The gadget lets us continue our chain. Thunder King Ryo is overall better. We'll start with the gadget, just to get a +1 off of it. We're not really still sure what our opponent's playing. Raikou Caius could just be anything at this point, really. So we could be against some sort of Vayu Turbo. We could be against Quick Draw Plant still. There's a lot on the table. So just go with the safer option of get our gadgets going, get the +1. Attack in and pass back to our opponent. Our opponent still has not done anything with their back row. If we flash over it, we see it's a D Prison. Looks like they're waiting to get a good target with it. Gadgets really aren't the targets you want to hit with 1-for-1 removal. Fast forward a little bit. They finally reveal what they're playing in Flameville Fire Dog. I have a D Prison to answer that. Feeling pretty good about our situation because now we just get to go either another gadget or a Thunder King Ryo and start attacking. Drawing another gadget there is really bad for the cause, but you know, you take them as you get them. Summon the Thunder King, start attacking him. They decided to use the D Prison now on the Thunder King. Feel like it's a good target there, I guess. I'm not disagreeing. I think it's actually a good time right there for that. Draws, tanking a little bit, 5 cards in the hand. Gotta have something here. They're facing down yellow gadget. They don't know about this red gadget, but that's fine. 4 back row is really hard to fight through. So let's see what they got. They're looking through their extra deck, thinking they have an option there. Little do they know we have the Royal Oppression to stop that, but we'll let them think. Fast forward a little bit. They go for Flameville Magician, Brain Control the red gadget. That's all fine by me. They're gonna synchro. I could compulse there to save like our gadget, but I don't think it's worth it. I think it's much better to Royal Oppression whatever they synchro into, being the Thought Ruler Archfiend. Our opponent, a little bit newer to Edison, I believe, if I remember them stating correctly. Not remembering that Thought Ruler does not get summoned face of the oppression, so they wouldn't be able to pay the 1,000 to protect. Also, just making sure they pay for the brain control. I don't think they ever did that. Another backer of their own. So we're going to draw. See what we hit. We hit a Thunder King. Always a great draw. There are 4,000. I think we just, we go with Yellow Gadget. Just keep the gadgets going. Yellow Gadget this turn does set us up for lethal next turn with the Thunder King. Just keeps us very diverse, whereas Thunder King walks into like Bottomless Trap Hole. A couple other things that maybe we don't want to just trigger just right then. Pass back to our opponent. Opponent's checking out the graveyard. They're just going to set a card. And it gets passed back to us. We do draw Forbidden Chalice. Pretty nice pickup here. Summon Thunder King. At this point, I'm thinking it's a Raikou. We already saw Spear Reaper, so something like that's still on our mind. We're just going to Compulse their face down. Try to go for lethal here. Yellow Gadget gets in. Our opponent's back row is the Mirror Force. I think they flip it up here. So we can't Starlight Road with the Royal Oppression on the field, so we just have to let the Mirror Force resolve, which does stink. But we have gadgets in hand. We have a couple more back row, so not really afraid of our position. Our opponent sets that monster that they previously had Compulse back to their hand, we presume. We draw a Fossil Dyna. Probably not the best to play in the face of a Raikou. So we're just going to go with Gadget. Gadget get Gadget. And then we're going to attack what I think's a Raikou, but what actually ends up being... Oh, no target for a green Gadget there. That's right. What actually ends up being... Gravekeeper Spy. A brick wall, if you will. Gravekeeper Spy triggers. They're going to get another Spy, I believe. And then we pass back to them. They set another monster. That one I'm presuming is a Raikou. Again. So we're going to play Fossil Dyna. Just in case it is a Spy. And they can't go get Descendant. We attack in. It is the Raikou. If it was Spy, I would have felt a lot better about our situation. But being that it's Raikou, they get to blow up our Royal Oppression. That's fine. We still have Fossil Dyna on the field. And that reopens up our Starlight Road to be used. Mill 3, including a Rekindling. Pretty good for us. We don't have any other plays, so we're just going to pass back to our opponent. Our opponent here is kind of in a weird position where they can kind of just sit on these spies until they get a reason to interact with us. Which is fine. We're winning in life point and cards, I believe. Yeah, in cards as well. So there's just a lot of situations where them trying to get aggressive is not the greatest. But great here, they're gonna flip up. They're gonna play the Rekindling into our Fossil Dyna for no reason. I forget. So they try to go get the Magician. I point at the Fossil Dyna. I have to remind them that no, they're not able to special summon. Rekindling does nothing here. Our opponent agrees. Rekindling does do nothing. Goes to the graveyard. Feel bad situation when your opponent walks into an open on the field trick like that, but you take your situations when you can. Our opponent has to then decide what they want to do with these spies. They could just leave them defense, maybe switch one to attack to try to attack over Fossil Dyna to open up Rekindling in future turns. I believe our opponent just passes back to us. So we're going to normal summon Gadget, get Gadget. Right, we still have yellow. Yep, go get yellow. Still can't really do anything about these spies. I do think about the Fossil Dyna thing that brought up before. But I'm not too worried about it happening since I have Compulse, Mirror Force. Or not Compulse, I have Mirror Force, Forbidden Chalice, and Shrink. So we'll just leave it in attack. Maybe it'll entice our opponent to switch some spies to attack. Because as of right now, we're not doing it. Opponent's back in the tank, trying to decide what they want to do. We'll normal summon a Flameville Fire Dog. I'm okay with this for right now. They're going to, I believe, try to attack with the Fossil Dyna. In the damage step, flip up the Shrink, make the Flameville Fire Dog 950. They'll take a cool 250. Our opponent trying to book a moon, unable to because damage step rules. Just explaining the intricacies of the damage step. They'll take the 250. Their Flameville Fire Dog dies. Fossil Dyna is still in the field. We know this is a Book of Moon now. Go ahead and draw. Draw a giant Trunade here. Not really the most useful draw. Still not really able to do anything about these spies. Does this green gadget, or does this yellow gadget have a gadget to get? It does. Go get green. We have all the colors of the rainbow going. No longer have the Shrink to protect our Fossil Dyna, so we'll just switch it to defense. This is just one of the situations where Spy is just really good at locking down a board of gadgets. Just weak, plus oneers, not really doing a whole lot. Our opponent decides to get a little bit greedy, not greedy, but proactive. Get the Caius on the board. I'll let them target with what they want to do with Caius. They're going to target our Fossil Dyna. I'm going to Forbidden Chalice the Caius because I want the Fossil Dyna to stick around. Our opponent does have the Book of Moon out, I believe. They wish, but our opponent decides not to do that. To take a sip of my coffee. So now they're going to go in and try to attack over the Fossil Dyna. No, they'll just attack over a gadget. I'm totally fine with that, I believe. No, oh, I guess not. I guess we will Mirror Force now. It will have no responses, pass back to us. Now we draw another 1-for-1 removal spell. Crap, I should say. This time, this one does not hit Spy yet, so we'll just set it. Hope our opponent decides to make a mistake with the Spy. They go for another Caius. They will target. After plenty of thinking, they will target Fossil Dyna. That's fine. We have no responses. Our only interaction here is the Dimensional Prison, which will trigger whenever they attack. They set a couple more cards. They actually decide not to attack with the Caius, which is a smart play. if you're playing around Deep Prison and Mirror Force and such, that is like the only help. They Trap does shoot. We do have the 4 cards in hand. We'll reveal that we do have a Doom Caliber Knight, a green gadget that can run back. We have a Giant Trunade to kind of wrap up this, and Shrink to wrap up this game. Those combined will be the perfect answer to Caius. But our opponent is going to make us play it out, I seem. So shuffle back the Doom Caliber Knight, that's fine. Giant Trunade, our opponent is going to think, but I don't think... Oh, they have the Solemn Judgment, I forgot about that. So that's fine. They're only out being a Book of Moon. They're going to pay half their life, 12.25. 12.75. 12.75 actually, so that's all they're sitting at. A Shrink will get this thing on the arm. Attack, our opponent can't really do anything because they just Book a Moon, then we attack with the next one. Shrink it. And then we'll get ready for game number 2. So game 1 was a really cool back and forth. Got stalled a little bit on our opponent's Gravekeeper Spy. But their Flameveil deck is pretty stock, so we had some good sideboard options, including some D-Fissures to stop their Rekindling Graveyard shenanigans. And also some really good options in the form of additional Fossil Dive. Get in with Thunder King, play the D-Fissure, play a back row. Our opponent, if I remember this game, does not end up having a very good draw. It's kind of bricked out of all of their best plays. So I will kind of put this on fast forward. We draw. I don't play the DD Warrior Lady just because I didn't want to walk into like a Torrential Tribute or a Mirror Force. They ended up not having that. I play it slow. I learned my lesson last time with the DD Warrior Lady sort of situation where playing them both out kind of hurt me. Now I'm just playing it slow. Play another DD Warrior Lady. Go in. Our opponent's only monster so far has been that Fire Dog. The rest of their stuff has just been interaction. DD Warrior Lady gets in. They're at a pretty low life total. I believe they have not drawn another monster. They'll flip up the Heavy Storm. I look at my back row. I will Solemn Judgment here, I believe. Yep, pay 4,000. They'll pay 800 on their own. Then they, kind of hit the point where DD Warrior Lady is not lethal. So let's see what outs they have. 4 cards in hand. No back row to be afraid of. Only at 800 life. Set a back row. Pass to us. So I'm like, alright, is it Torrential? Nope. Was not a Mirror Force. Was not a Deep Prison. Was not a Book of Moon. Wasn't a... battle interaction, I guess, is the word I was looking for there. Sorry, my brain blanked out a little bit. Guess I gotta drink a little bit more of this coffee. Anyway, that is match number 3. I've got one more match I want to show you guys. We'll hop right in. Hey y'all, Nick in editing just wanted to drop in and say, check out my opponent's Twitch at twitch.tv/TechyCoyote. He was really awesome. Knew the channel, was great to play against. Big fan of this person, and might check him out in some future stuff soon. So check him out. See you in the next game. Alright guys, here with the final match of the Edison Diaries here. Let's get it started. We won the rock, paper, scissors, I believe, so we're going to go first. Yes, we did. Fast forward a little bit here. Opening hand's like not the best. We got Dark Bribe and Starlight Road. Both of them are like the same sort of card. They want to answer Heavy Storm. But opening up with 3 gadgets is just like never where you want to be, especially when your only protection card is Compulse. So you're oftentimes left with just this awkward. It's not really a +1, not really a 1-for-1, actually a -1. Don't really want to use it to protect a gadget. It's just an awkward situation. Our opponent goes ahead, sets a card, accidentally throws the bottomless trap hole face down or face up in the graveyard. Little misclick on Dueling Book. It happens all the time to the best of us. We draw a card. Not really sure what our opponent's playing. We know their opponent's got the bottomless trap hole set. We'll play around it the only way we know how, by playing a gadget. Go ahead and go get red gadget. Feeling pretty mediocre about the way our hand's looking, but we'll just go as is. Attack in. Face down, it's a giant rat. We'll take 50. Can't get over this giant rat unless we compulse it. Don't really feel like that's a proposition I want to make here, so we'll just set roll oppression. Put yellow gadget into defense in case they want to go offensive with the giant rat, and pass to our opponent. Opponent shuffles their hand. I think they're going to throw down, yes, Fire Ant Ascator. It's a tuner. It does some other stuff. Play Reader right now. It's going to go into a Black Rose Dragon. We have the Starlight Road to protect, and our opponent scoops them up. Yep. Opponent with the early Rage Scoop to the Starlight Road. Not a good sign for moving forward. Fast forward a little bit. We're on the second train this time, but our hand's really good actually. Bunch of good cards, spells, traps, interaction through monsters. Feeling pretty good. Summon Doom Cow. Our opponent has no response. Hit in with it to trigger and negate the giant rat. Throw a couple back row down. Pass to our opponent. We don't throw down the Royal Oppression because we have the Fossil Dyna as well, and they're kind of like a giant rat control deck, it seems, so can't really do a whole lot there. And we didn't have like Starlight Road or Solemn Judgment, Dark Bribe, Protect, or Big Back Row. So go DD Warrior Lady, attack in. It's giant rat. I'm not gonna let them resolve that. Our opponent has now 0 for 2 on giant rat so far. 0 for 3 counting game 1. They set another card past us. I think it's just another giant rat, so we're going to go Thunder King so we can attack over it. Our opponent freaks out a little bit because they're just like, you know, a little child. I don't know what else to say. It just makes me laugh. You know, attack into the Fire Ant doesn't do anything. Pass to our opponent. They go back row. They go set a monster. Well, I'm not going to not summon Fossil Dyna. Oh, I guess I do. Opt not to. So the giant rat, go get a pretty sick card in Ancient Gear Engineer. It blows up back row. I don't particularly want my opponent doing that. So we'll just smash and ground it now. Pass back to our opponent. Opponent's in the tank, gonna bring control our Thunder King Ryo. I'm okay with that because it probably means they're probably gonna go for a tuner. Play Fire Ant, and I have the Book of Moon to protect us from anything of that sort. They'll attack with Thunder King. I'll just take it. When we reverse out the Fire Ant, that's when I'll flip up the Book of Moon. Brain Control pass. Or Brain Control ends, they pass back to us. We'll go Thunder King back. Draw DD Warrior Lady. Play the Fossil Dyna because I'm not really fearing a whole lot right now. Attacking with Thunder King. Fossil Dyna stops the Fire Ant. Hit in for 12. Set another back row. Our opponent's kind of just limited on what they can do here. Burnt through all their giant rats. Legit smokescreen gadgets into stun? Nah, buddy, I play them both at the same time. Didn't draw any gadgets. Haven't drawn them. Alright, they'll throw down the breaker. Gets the counter, but I'll bottomless and respond. Opponent's got nothing more. Passes back to us. We'll just hit in. We're on a 2-turn clock right now. No need to set the royal oppression because we got the fossil Dyna. They play the breaker. Breaker gets the counter. We'll compulse in response. Unless our opponent's back rows something good. They've got nothing. They've got nothing. They admit we've got a cool deck. We do have a cool deck. Thank you, opponent. Marco F. You're the best. You know, got salty over losing to gadgets and called some pretty incorrect guesses there. All right. So that is it for our matches. So let's get into the aftermath. All right, guys, here we are with the aftermath, and I am super excited to talk about a couple things. First off, sideboard changes that I made prior to this video with the breakers and running the 3rd dimensional fissure again were top notch. Highly recommend playing breakers over the dust tornadoes, as it gives you a little bit more of a flexible removal card, and it also pops Royal Decree. And then the dimensional fissure, obviously, when you need it, you need it. Other things I just want to say about the sideboard that I didn't really get to show off in these matchups are just like the Power of Nobleman Crossout has come through to me. I'm very insistent on playing it. Trap Hole's another mainstay. I'm really happy I'm playing that. Everything else about the sideboard, I'm just really solidified on. Then the only thing, there's 2 more topics I want to talk about. They're both main deck, and it's going to be the Book of Moon, Forbidden Chalice, Shrink, and Smashing situation. So I'm playing 2 of each of these, and I would highly recommend that if you're going to pick this deck up and play it in your own meta, to adjust it to your own meta sake. If you think that Forbidden Chalice isn't going to work very well with the decks you're expecting, cut them. Play an additional Book of Moon, play an additional Shrink. If you think Smashing Ground's too slow, and you want more instant speed interactions, more maybe like a 3rd Book of Moon, maybe another Compulse, stuff like that. Make those changes based on what you're expecting. That's what this deck is. It's a very reactive deck, so you need your removal to respond well to what you're expecting. Lastly, there is a little bit of a thing where I think Dark Bribe can go up to 2 copies. You're already playing Starlight Road, yes, but there's the problem with Starlight Road and Royal Oppression, whereas Dark Bribe doesn't have that issue, and Dark Bribe's a little bit more open as to what it can hit. There are a lot of times where you just flip up Dark Bribe and you just win the game because you have it. Granted, your opponent draws that card, and that is very, very big downside, but you just need to have the stop for Heavy Storm, you need to have the stop for Giant Trunade, Cold Wave, Royal Decree, Black Rose Dragon. I guess that doesn't stop that, but you know what I'm trying to say. Like, big wiped Torrential, Mirror Force. You just need the answer to those effects. Dark Bribe answers a lot of those very efficiently. And your opponent's draws are hopefully not as good as, the rest of it. Alright. So that's it. That's everything I want to say. Thank you so much for watching, and I hope I'll catch you again soon. Peace out, guys.